Terror in the woods tonight. Branches crack, no moon inside. And always carry more gun than you'll need, or the Yowie will make you bleed. Terror in the woods tonight. Branches crack, no moon inside. And always carry more gun than you'll need, or the Yowie will make you bleed. Sasquatch whisper through the trees. Leaves are rustling like a breeze. Legends rise and hunters fall. Who's the predator after all? Did I know? Did I know? Did I know?
Legends rise and hunters fall. Who's the predator after all? Welcome to the Bigfoot Terror in the Woods Sightings and Encounters podcast. I am your host, W.J. Sheehan, author of the series of books Bigfoot Terror in the Woods Sightings and Encounters. 38 volumes, folks, available at our website. And tune into our shop, if you will. Pick up a little mug, a hat, a hoodie, a pair of socks. No, not socks. A lot of good stuff there, folks. And now, may I introduce you to and bring in my brother, KJ Sheehan. Kev, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Bill. How about you?
I'm digging the scene, Daddy-O.
I like that reference to our new theme music, our new intro music.
Yeah, I think I flubbed it a little bit, but I'm good at flubbing things. Yeah, man, I hope you folks are really enjoying our new introduction music because we love it.
I know a lot of people that wrote in loved it, Bill, so it's good good so far. I mean, I'm sure someone will not like it, but, that's okay.
We can always write them off.
No. No, we're not writing anybody off. We need all of our listeners.
Hey, what do you mean?
Need all of our listeners.
Yeah, folks, I'm sure you're liking that theme song. I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go down the road. And I'm making an effort to potentially get it on iTunes so that you could download it and rock out to Bigfoot Terror in the Woods.
Awesome.
I love that stuff, man. So, how's everything down in the North Country?
In North Carolina or North Kakalaki, it is very wet today, but it's warming up a little bit. I mean, into the 40s, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
But yesterday was beautiful. We did a long hike. My bride and I did a 4-mile hike in a local park here. And didn't see any Bigfoot. We did see a couple of Labrador retrievers that might look like a Bigfoot.
Man-eating Labrador retrievers.
Or at least biscuit sniffing. Checking my pockets for biscuits. But now it's raining like crazy, and I'm back on a jet plane tomorrow. And we have a trip coming up. I have a trip coming up, Bill, as I think you know, up to Calgary and Banff and Lake Louise. So probably going to be snowy up there, but maybe we'll see a hairy man trudging around.
Yeah, I had that one great encounter from the Banff, however they say it.
Banff.
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 You did not know I was a Frenchman. It's Banff, you ignorant American.
Perfect.
Oh, my God. Well, let me get into a couple of good accounts here, Kev.
All right.
Quite a mixed bag here, but very interesting. So this account was told to me by a guy named Lester Hayes. And by the way, folks, as is always the case, I make up all of these people's names. So sometimes it's his right last name. Sometimes it's their right first name. Sometimes it's not their name at all. But I don't use people's names live on the radio unless I full on trust them as a friend and they say it's okay. So this was told to me by Lester Hayes.
I was wondering if it was Lester Hayes, that famous defensive back from way back when, from the Oakland Raiders. He used to be covered in the stickum so that, like, if a pass even hit him as a defensive back, it would just stick to him. He didn't even have to catch it.
He could feel it hanging on his back and just start running the other way.
Any of you folks out there remember Lester?
Lester Hayes. Well, this is what Lester Hayes had to share with me. In 1971, when my granddad was still alive, he had a small house located near the Willamette Valley in Oregon State. My grandparents' home was very small, and on the same lot they had constructed a little structure which he named the Dollhouse. When I was really small and we went to visit, this was like our own private playhouse. And as all the grandkids had grown, whenever I went to visit Granddad, we crashed in the Dollhouse. It was that nice. This, by the way, was no tree fort type of thing. It was a regular house with water, heat, and a small bathroom, only miniaturized, much like what they are calling a little house on these TV shows today. Next to the Dollhouse was a mature chestnut tree that looked like it was 100 years old, and in season, it really put out some nuts or fruit, whatever they're called. When I say next to the Dollhouse, what I really mean is about 100 feet away or so from the structure. As I grew into a man, every other year and sometimes twice a year, depending on what life threw my way, I would go and visit, generally towing a friend along, and we would do a little small game or bird hunting in some of the area's farms and fields. Grandpa was well connected, so there was never a shortage of places to shoot. On this particular occasion, I had brought along my coworker Wayne for a 3-day weekend. And after a day's hunt in the fields, we had settled down for the night in the Dollhouse. It was about midnight, as I was reading a book and Wayne had already nodded off, that I heard something hit the side of the Dollhouse which sounded like a small rock. Mind you, we're talking over 45 years ago when there was virtually nobody in the area, with the exception of local farmers, and even these residents would barely be seen during the day. Now, I knew there were no trees around this house whatsoever, so nothing could fall from one and hit the house. A few minutes later, I heard yet again, tap, tap, on the wall of the house. I prodded Wayne to wake him up. Naturally, he awoke and he said to me, "What's going on?" I told him to listen, and that something was hitting the side of the Dollhouse. The two of us sat there quietly with the lights on in the house when we heard several more what sounded like rocks land on the roof and roll off. Unfortunately, the only thing we didn't have in the Dollhouse was a flashlight. But we went outside anyway. It was very dark, and the only available light was coming from Granddad's porch about 75 feet away from where we were. As we stepped out around the side of the building, which was being pelted by rocks, we were completely in the dark and unable to see much of anything. The two of us were trying to focus on the ground in an attempt to see any rocks, of which we saw none. As we stood there looking down, whack! Another rock, or what we thought was a rock, hit the house, and yet we still saw nothing on the ground. There were no rocks. Inasmuch as it was late, and I didn't want to wake my granddad from his sleep, we knocked on the door anyway, and he answered it. As we sat in his kitchen telling him what had happened, he put his clothes on, grabbed his shotgun and a flashlight, and led us back outside. At first, he was looking on the ground for rocks, as we were, but none of us had taken note of the chestnuts. So we went back into the dollhouse and waited. After about an hour, nothing had happened, when Grandpa suggested shutting the lights off as though we had gone asleep. About 30 minutes later, another rock hit the roof, and we jumped outside, running around the corner with the flashlight beaming into the darkness. Grandpa had first shown the light to the left and then quickly to the right, and there it was. A huge hairy beast standing next to the chestnut tree, swaying left and right as it stood there. Grandpa said, "Son of a bitch!" and squeezed the trigger into the night, which sent this thing running into the field. The shot ringing out had attracted some attention from the locals, because moments later the lights went on in two nearby houses hundreds of yards in either direction. A minute later the phone rang in my grandpa's house, and he ran in to answer it as we followed behind him. I knew he was answering a question when I heard him say, "Did you hear it? I pulled the trigger." Within 20 minutes' time, there were a half-dozen vehicles and armed men in my grandpa's yard. Everyone was walking around with flashlights and guns looking around for this beast, which we had seen. 3 men had gone out into the field, and one yelled out, "We got tracks!" All of us converged on the scene, and there they were. Enormous human-type footprints in the soft soil of a freshly tilled field, one after the other, placed oddly in a single line going off into the field. One of the men paced off the distance between 2 of the footprints, and it was over 2 of his strides, with the prints being about 20 inches long and perhaps 8 inches wide. We walked back to the house, where everyone was looking for rocks, when one of the guys said, "It's obvious. What are all these chestnuts doing here?" We hadn't even thought about the chestnuts, having seen them earlier ourselves, but now we knew that this thing was standing by the chestnut tree when we saw it, and apparently had been throwing chestnuts at the dollhouse. This was what we had been hearing. After discussing what exactly it was which we saw, several men took off in their trucks, hoping to intercept this beast. Excuse me a second. Had to clear my throat. They came back later on, having seen nothing. They did, however, see where the trail had ended by the one in the field and continued into another after crossing a road. It was now 3:30 in the morning, and everyone was in the kitchen, drinking coffee and talking about this hairy monster. One of the fellas said that this was what the Indians call a Sasquatch, which created quite a stir in the kitchen. At sunup, everyone took off in the trucks to the place where the tracks were seen crossing the street into another field, doing their best to follow the direction this thing had headed. It had certainly covered some serious real estate before they ran out of roads in time to follow the trail any further. Basically, Bill, that was the extent of what happened that night. Having seen it with my own eyes and having stood in the spot where it was in the morning, there was a limb on the tree which his head was just under. That was about 8 feet from the ground. This thing was broad, too. I'm talking 3 or 4 feet wide, and it had legs like tree trunks. It was truly an amazing spectacle to behold. Pretty wild, Kevin.
Wow. You know, when you first started out, I was like, maybe this is the parents playing a joke on the kids, you know. But then when they're seeing it and having the tracks and everything, I was like, oh, okay. No, that's not what this is.
Yeah, like the joke Kelly thought Dave was playing on him in his trailer.
Sure. Yeah.
Same thing, right? Has to be Dave playing a practical joke on me out here.
100%.
Yeah, somebody trying to spook the kids out in the dark in this little dollhouse, you know, the young people.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah,
I would do
yeah.
it. But yeah, and this is out in the hotbed, though, in Willamette Valley in Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, there's just activity in certain places, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember when Expedition Bigfoot began. I think they were out in the country in Oregon.
I can't remember, like, it because I thought they started out someplace odd in the east. Not odd for Bigfoot, but like different than where you would think they would start.
Yeah, I think they went to Kentucky.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what I was thinking. Like Kentucky.
Yeah, they were in some coal mining hills up there and different things.
In the hollers.
In the hollers, baby. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, a sighting, footprints, and that was the end of it, you know.
Chestnut loving Bigfoot. Or
we don't know.
Chestnut love. I love throwing chestnut Bigfoot.
I like the way Grandpa started sending lead downrange. Why waste time? Pull the trigger.
And I could see why that would bring a lot of attention in that part of the country.
Yeah, well, if you hear a boom, everybody over there knows what a gunshot sounds like.
Exactly.
So when you're in the middle of a peaceful country setting and a ba-boom goes off late at night,
You got that right.
you know, you're thinking old Willie finally killed his old lady. Some bitch, she was nasty.
Let's go see if he finally did it. Jump in the truck. Let's go.
Bring a jug of that shine along. Oh, man. So let's dig into this other one here.
All right.
If I can find it. One page stuck to another. Was that a song? No, it was one thing leads to another.
You're thinking in excess.
In excess. Now, oh, here it is. Hold on a second, Kev. I got to get things sorted here. 8,
I
9.
can't go anywhere.
Hear that, brother? All right, here we go. This following, I'll call it an amazing sighting because, you know, everything's unique, right? Every sighting has its own identity, so to speak. But this one is really out of the box, unusual. Came to me by way of Mary Beth and Lyle Sanborn, a husband and wife team who are residents of the state of Maine. And this is what the couple had to share. I'm going to begin with Mary Beth and then switch into Lyle. In late August 2015, Lyle and I had gone into Acadia National Park for the weekend, with our plan being to do some stargazing and some astral photography. Both of us had made a career in academia, and the two of us have been heavily involved in astronomy for as long as we have been together, and even longer, which amounts, in this case, to well over 30 years. We had made our camp near the Beehive, with our plan being to take the Ocean Path Trail down along the shore at night in order to do our celestial observations and the photo shoot. The night was moonless. We planned it that way. and the sky was aglow with a billion stars as we began our trek down to the shore. I must tell you, Bill, that just from the light of the stars alone, we could clearly see the beach and the waves rolling in from the sea. Now, both of us are well skilled in the art of observation, and we had stopped at a high point overlooking the shore. In between looking at the sky, I was the first to notice what I believed was a set of tracks going along the beach below us on the fresh, wet sand, the tide having retreated from the shore. Momentarily, Lyle and I had decided to abort our sky watch for a moment in order to investigate these tracks if they were, in fact, tracks at all. Now reaching the beach below us, we were standing over not one, but two sets of what appeared to be very deep and large tracks, laid down in line, side by side, paralleling each other. I put my forearm into one of the tracks nearest to the water, and there was at least a foot of water in the hole. From the direction of the prints, we could see that whatever had made them came off the rocky area that was behind us and stepped down onto the beach as we had. The pathway meandered to our right, which led up to firmer sand away from the water. As we followed them, we could see very firm and distinct imprints which were sunk perhaps some 6 inches or so into this now firmer portion of the beach. They were those of a large human-like foot, much like our own, only mammoth in proportions. The prints traveled away from us for hundreds of yards, heading towards a rocky set of short bluffs in the distance. Now, Lyle is talking. What Mary Beth has said thus far is exactly what we observed. It was then that I said to her, "Don't think that I've gone mad, but to me, these are Bigfoot tracks." My wife shook her head in disbelief, but shortly thereafter was in total agreement with my statement. These tracks had to have been laid down just a short while ago, with the tide having withdrawn from the beach where they had begun perhaps in the last 50 minutes or so. The reality being that the prints could not have been made mere moments before our getting there. Although it was night, there was virtually nothing hidden from view, at least as far as the beach was concerned. And we decided to move forward towards those short bluffs which were just ahead of us. We now saw that these tracks made their way into the trees, which abutted the beach in a direction which, if continued, would bring them up into the woods and along the top of the bluffs of which I spoke. So, as we approached the wood line, Mary Beth stopped and said, "Oh, what is that?" As she pointed with a finger before us, set back within the woods, perhaps only 20 feet, was what appeared to be a pair of red, glowing eyes peering out of the trees. As we watched, they were opening and shutting, just like we would blink. And as this pair disappeared from view, perhaps from the animal turning away, another pair was now in view, about 15 or 20 feet to the left of that pair, but slightly lower to the ground. These were also blinking, and from what we could see, the head to which they were attached was turning away from looking at us. Sorry about that, a little tongue twisted. And then they disappeared as well. We stood there in total disbelief, concentrating our gaze into the trees in hopes of seeing them again, and nothing happened. We then began to hear what I will describe as some leaves and twigs crunching, indicating something moving in the woods, which quickly became very faint to our ears. To us, Whatever we had been looking at was moving away from the beach up the hill and toward the bluffs. Now, these stony bluffs were gray and black rock of some type, which were illuminated under the light of the stars overhead. And the tops of them seemed to offer a slight edge between themselves and where the woods abutted them. As we watched in the hope of seeing anything further, we did. Two huge, dark figures emerged from the trees and were now walking along the tops of these stone walls, and they too were illuminated in a way where we could now see that they were Bigfoot. One was trailing the other, and about a foot shorter in stature, the two of which were only perhaps 200 feet away from us and walking away. We were flabbergasted by the spectacle that was before our very eyes, and then they stopped. The two of them now facing the water, as one of them extended its arm skyward, as if it was pointing toward the stars. I could see their outlines against the brightness of the sky, and then they stepped back into the woods and were gone. Mary Beth and I backed away to a position on the beach where we were in the middle, with a substantial buffer on either side of us, and spent the night watching and listening for further activity. But nothing else occurred. Neither of us were willing to walk back on the trail, you understand, Bill, having seen what we had that night and not knowing where they may be. Hours later, when daybreak had come, we hiked back to our camp in total disbelief of what we had seen. It was incredible. Bizarre, Kev, huh?
Yeah, Acadia National Park, right up in Maine.
Absolutely.
And I've been up there a bunch, Bill. I mean, it's a little shocking, I got to tell you, because although Acadia is spectacular in its beauty, there's so many people around that place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's the most populous national park. I think that's, I can't think of the one in eastern Tennessee here. But Smoky Mountain, I'm thinking Smoky Mountain National Park, I think is the most populous, but it's close. I mean, there's a lot of people around there, so it's amazing to see some Bigfoot.
Yeah, it is amazing, Kev. But you know what? None of this stuff stumps me. Because if you think of all the various species of wildlife that come right around people's houses, I mean, I've had listeners of the podcast show me cougars on their deck, bobcats hanging around their garage, moose, bear. We had Jane a few weeks ago talking about her sister's screen getting ripped off by a bear while she was cooking Italian meatballs. I mean, so to think that Bigfoot...
Those bears are like the Labrador Retriever in the wildlife world, though.
It just stands to reason in my mind, Kev, that these creatures don't give a hoot what you and I think. If they're going to sneak around and snoop around and walk over here and lay low when somebody comes by or make themselves known.
Yeah.
Who are we to say what they're going to do,
Oh no, I'm just surprised, but
yeah.
And by the way, just transition a little bit. Speaking of them being stargazers, Bill, night before last, I'm out on my deck in Raleigh. Okay. And I'm looking up, and I got a lot of trees in my backyard, so I don't get like a big patch of sky to look up at. But I'm looking up, and I'm like on the edge of Orion, the constellation Orion. Through the window I'm looking up at. And I'm just kind of sitting on the chair out there with nothing to do for about 30 minutes. And in 15 minutes, Bill, I saw 15 satellites.
Wow.
Not shooting stars, satellites. I never saw anything like it.
Do you think that was Elon Musk?
No,
string?
I've seen his string of satellites. This wasn't that. This was going all different directions, all different times, not airplanes. I never saw anything like it. And I'm assuming that they're satellites. But I will say, I immediately, after I saw the first two, I got my app out here, and I'm looking it up here to make sure I quote the right app on my iPhone, which is awesome. I think it's Night Gaze, or bear with me a second here.
Sure,
It's
sure.
worth the wait. And that shows like Skyview, it's called. That
Okay.
shows the International Space Station. It'll show, other satellites. It won't show all of Elon's satellites, for example, but it'll show space junk and stuff like that. Every time after the first two, I kept it open and I would hold it up. None of them showed up on there. Now
Yeah.
I don't assume that app shows everything, but Bill, I never saw that many. And I'm in Raleigh, and the sky up where I am in North Raleigh is pretty dark, but it's not like being out at the beach.
Yeah. Now, you didn't see any of them. Well, like you said, you could only look at a small piece of the sky.
Right.
So I was going to ask you if you saw any of them stop or change direction.
No, I was looking for that. No
Yeah.
irregular movement, but they were going all different directions.
Yeah, and that is not typical of the satellites orbiting the Earth at
Right.
all. So that's
It was
a game.
wild. It was wild.
Yeah, that's a game changer. So now, you having seen that, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there was something there other than the satellites to me, but they were really high up. My eyes are like they'll pick out a needle in a haystack, literally. And I was like, "Whoa, look at that! Wait a minute!" Like, and then 10 seconds later, look at that going the other way.
Well, let me say this. Do you think it could have been 1962 VW Beetles with their ass on fire?
Flying across the sky? No, not likely. Not likely.
Orbiting the Earth with their pancake motor burning?
Not likely. No. I don't think it was Mothman either. Although I do love the Mothman. And I'm looking at the light up Mothman in my window, the neon Mothman that you've seen
Perfect.
pictures of.
Perfect.
He's like, "What do you mean you don't think it was me?"
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, Kev, I like that Mothman, but it's not exactly terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have a happy face, though. It's not like that.
By the way, do you still have that evil eye hanging up next to you?
I do, of course. It's protecting me. I do have a painting of Mothman on the wall as well. And I'm looking around me. A warning, please do not feed the Sasquatch sign.
Listen, if there's a Mothman, we had Batman and we had Batwoman. We got Mothman. Do you think there's a Moth woman?
I don't know about that, but it could be.
Mothorella. So what do we have, Kevin? Cryptids in the news and other oddities.
Yeah, we're going to get a little creepy. You were talking about the Hollows, and we are going to go to West Virginia. In the
Okay.
Hollows to the Tygart Valley. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Tygart Valley.
Yeah, Tygart.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about the smoke wolves.
I've heard of these things. Smoke wolves.
Yeah, and there's been sightings of these since around 1900.
Wow. So we're talking about over a century.
And you know how we always have debates about things that are flesh and blood and things that may be demonic, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Well, buckle up, because we're getting into the demonic world as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, man. All right, go ahead. Let
You
her
got your
rip.
seatbelt on?
I don't have seatbelts on this chair, but
Well, you
my-
might want
my
to get
law-
some.
my large base is immovable at the moment.
So this smoke wolf is a big creature. Again, they've been seeing it since the 1900s, which coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, is about when wolves died off, real wolves died off in this portion of the country.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is kind of interesting.
Yeah, one left and something else
Right.
replaced it.
Now, this wolf, though, the smoke wolf, has eyes that glow with brilliant red light.
Oh boy.
And it has a bit of a shape-shifting ability.
Oh,
And it,
may-
yeah, go
maybe
ahead.
that's what they are.
Well, yeah. And it gets its name, smoke wolf, because as it's kind of threatened or runs into something that it doesn't like, which we'll talk about what it doesn't like, it basically starts to kind of pixelate, for lack of a better description, right? Like
Right.
you're looking at a computer screen, but you're looking at this wolf with red eyes, and then all you see is a wisp of smoke.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it kind of like just dematerializes.
Yeah, so kind of like instead of shape shifting, it's kind of like smoke shifting.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is creepy.
I know. I told you.
If you saw something like that in the woods, man, you'd be thinking you lost your senses.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, what the heck is? I got to stay away from the dispensary.
No, and the thing with these smoke wolves too, everyone that talks about them talks about the fact that these things they are an active predator, but they seem to kill for fun or kill for enjoyment. Meaning they slaughter a lot of stuff, but they don't eat any of it.
So they have evidence of killed uneaten prey?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, but that kind of makes sense if you come along with on the creepy ride with me and assume that this is some type of demonic, non-flesh and blood thing.
Almost like it has no need for food. It's just
Doesn't
like
have
you said,
to eat. Doesn't have to eat.
killing for sport, pleasure.
Yeah, and then one of the things, really the main thing that causes this creature to dematerialize and kind of go up in smoke, for lack of a better description, is the sound of rattling chains, believe it or not.
Whoa.
And someone discovered this accidentally. But, these folks around there, they'll have these chains around so that they can rattle them in case they run into the smoke wolf.
No kidding. They actually carry them like a
Yeah, or
deterrent?
they'll have it out on their deck, right? Like if here I am sitting here in North Raleigh tonight, and if we had smoke wolves around here, I'd have some chains out by the back door.
How far are they? First of all, are they still being seen? And how far are they from your area?
Pretty far. So this is, by the way, Tygart Valley is up in northeastern West Virginia, north of Snowshoe Mountain. So if any of you are skiers, you'll know Snowshoe. It's a pretty good mountain for the East Coast in terms of skiing, and I've been up there. It's pretty nice place, although it's pretty darn cold in the winter. So they have good snow, but they have good snow because it's cold as anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. And it's
this Tygart Valley is in that snow belt?
Yeah, it's right up there, and it's adjacent or in, I couldn't tell, but at least it's adjacent to the Monongahela National Forest.
Monongahela.
Yeah, it's got another gong in there, but Monongahela, yeah.
Monongahela.
But yeah, so we've had some accounts up there, right, in the Monongahela.
Okay.
Right? You've covered them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a familiar territory to my ears.
Yeah. Cool. So let me tell you about a couple of these encounters. So one of the most foundational accounts in the mid-20th century involves a livestock owner in northern Tygart Valley whose property was targeted by an unknown predator. And basically, over the course of 3 months, the farmer reported loss of over a dozen cattle. Each one of the cattle was found with massive throat trauma, but no missing tissue at all.
Wow, man. So something just took it down by the throat, choked it out, bled it out, and walked
Let
away.
it out and walked away. All the organs are intact and everything. Nothing eaten. Just throat rip, massive throat trauma is what he reports.
That is really unusual.
Exactly.
16 head?
Yep.
Holy smoke, Wolf.
Yeah, holy smoke wolf. Yeah. And the farmer, so get this, he eventually, in the same time frame, he encountered the entities on his porch during a moonless night. So he described, get this, Bill, three large, black, wolf-like shapes that moved in a flowing motion. And when he attempted to fire a shotgun at the lead creature, the buckshot passed through the creature as if it were a shadow, leaving the figure unharmed.
Very interesting too, Kev, that if that was his word, he used the word entities.
Yes.
He didn't say three furry big wolves.
No.
So his mind was already thinking, what am I looking at?
No, and
here?
he said they moved in a flowing motion.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really talk about wolves as moving in a flowing motion.
No, they kind of prance and trot along, you know.
Yeah, trot along, stop, look, trot along a little bit more, stop, look.
Yeah, I've seen them. Once in a while, they'll speed up a little bit if they get
Yeah.
spooked, but usually it's a pretty steady stop and go walk.
Stop
they
and
do.
go, right. So this farmer, recalling local tales about this creature, began to shake a heavy security chain that was used for his barn gate.
Huh.
Yeah, and the sound of the rattling metal caused the creatures to emit a high-pitched scream before they dissolved into a cloud of smoke that drifted away into the woods.
Wow. And
Yeah.
what that had, you know what comes to my mind? Just like Satan rattling some chain, and they were familiar with that sound.
Yeah, yeah,
Something, you know.
yeah.
Philip and I were talking last night about the Greek, what the heck is the name of that three-headed dog? Cerberus?
Cerberus, yeah.
Cerberus. And I had a picture I shared with him of Hades holding Cerberus with a big chain. And the artwork was incredible. It was all three of the heads were like the most vicious Rottweiler heads you would want to ever see, attached to this mega body and this evil Hades character with a robe on and a long chain and some type of sickle in his hand or something, holding Cerberus, you know, and they're snapping and showing their teeth.
Yeah.
You know, it just came to my mind when he said he rattled the chain, this gate chain or security chain,
Security chain, yeah.
and they just poof, like, ah, shoo. Wow. Really bad, man.
Yeah. So here's another one here. So this is from the Ames Legacy. And Ames, I'm looking here on my notes. I can't find the acronym, but it's like Appalachian Investigation into Mysterious something.
Okay.
Right? You may have heard of that before. I hadn't heard about it, but they come up here. And this was a more recent event. And this Ames team, after the death of John Trapper Tice, Trapper had been tracking these entities since the 1970s, and he had left behind a personal journal filled with his findings. And his team, after he passed away, went to Tygart Valley and their discovery of what they called the Coyote Killing Massacre.
Ugh.
Yeah. And during a blizzard in this area, which is sometimes also called no man's land, a gentleman by the name of Buck Lowe encountered a red-eyed creature as they were using Trapper John's what they call the secret sauce to lure in these creatures.
Some type of bait and sniff kind of thing.
Yeah. And they had traps set up to try to catch these creatures, and all the traps failed to hold on to the entity because the entity would simply turn to smoke if it got close to the trap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I'm telling you, man, there's stuff out there, the likes of which you don't want to run into.
No, absolutely creepy.
You know. And this is why, when people have encounters with things, who are we to say how freaked out they are by this and what it has done to their mental state going forward in life?
Yeah.
You can expect the unexpected. I've had a lot of weird things happen to me that were all real. And I'm still moving, you know what I mean? But I'm a different kind of character. But I wouldn't say that some of the things that I've seen wouldn't have upset some people or give them the heebie-jeebs for the rest of their life,
Oh, no doubt about it.
So,
yeah, so just to review, though, a little bit, this thing, again, if you're wondering if it's flesh and blood or not, because I went through it kind of quickly, all of the encounters talk about it having glowing red eyes.
yeah.
So you know where that puts me on it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and all of the encounters describe the vocalization as a demonic scream. Not a howl or a snarl, demonic scream. And then all of the killings are like the animal is intact, other than, having its throat ripped open.
Yeah, and listen to the adjectives being used. Entities.
Yeah.
Demonic screaming.
Yeah.
These are not your run-of-the-mill comments about something you saw around your yard last night.
Yeah, and solid black color. Always.
Yeah, always, man. I don't just go out in my yard and say, hey, Kev, I saw a large entity in my property last night. It was really cool. You know what I mean?
Might be time to move if you do.
Yeah. Might be time to throw some lead down rain. Roger that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so that's it, Bill. The smoke wolves. Yet another creature for us to cover.
Wow. You know me, Kev. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all.
Oh.
When you see shadow figures, dark entities turning into wisps of smoke, I mean, it's as simple as 2 + 2, in my opinion.
I'm with you, man. I got my silver cross around my neck. If I have to melt it down and put it in the chamber, I could do that too.
All right. So what do we got on listener mail today, Bill?
Yeah, we got some good listener mail, Bill. So Emily writes in, and the subject is awesome theme song.
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah, man. Hello, KJ and WJ. And by the way, Emily, thanks for saying hello to me, too. I love the new theme song. It was a complete surprise and so fun. I love the podcast and have some of the books on Audible. Keep up the great work. And she writes, Kevin, I also live in North Carolina, so maybe we'll meet someday. I'm always on the lookout for a black pickup with Bigfoot stickers. Emily.
Kev, don't tell Karen you got chicks looking for you now.
No kidding. She loves it when people approach me and know me from Bigfoot Terror in the Woods.
Yeah, it kind of puts a smile on your face, you know?
It does put a smile on her face. She thinks I'm talking to you all these times. No one else. All right, and one more email, Bill, from Mark.
Okay.
And he says, hey, guys, I don't miss an episode. I ran across this at a state park in Oklahoma. Get this, Bill. Rougarou Adventures zipline tours.
No way.
Way. He said, I had to let you know that the Rougarou is alive and well down here. I've never had the fortunate luck to see or hear one. And by the way, Mark, that would be unfortunate luck to see a
Yeah.
Rougarou.
Yeah, I wouldn't even use the word luck, just
No.
unfortunate.
Unfortunate. He says, but will always keep my eyes and ears open. This is Mark from Texas, Blue Ridge, Texas, to be exact. And I still believe y'all have the best tagline in the business. Always carry more gun than you think you're going to need.
That's
Mark.
right, brother. There's my man, Mark.
Good stuff.
I love that, man. Well, great podcast, Kev. Hey, Kev, how can the folks get in touch with us?
Yeah, go to BigfootTerrorInTheWoods.com, which is our website. You can also shop there for books and goodies. And you go to contact us, and it'll open up an email. You send it to us. We read every one of your emails. And oftentimes, if you want to talk to him, my brother will talk to you as well.
Yeah, and, I might as well tell some of you folks, because you may have seen some of them already. I have a good friend posting some little snippets. They're actually anime. They're like a little trailer of a podcast leading you back to us, for people who don't know our podcast.
And this is
don't
on
know
YouTube, Bill.
Right, YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify.
All right.
So these are like little 30, 40-second anime things. I think you'll like them if you run across them, but just keep your eyes peeled. And if you do listen to us on YouTube, please subscribe to the podcast. It just helps to promote the brand.
Yeah, and
And
if you haven't left us a review lately, leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast player, because it's virtually the only way we have to attract new listeners to the podcast.
Right. Well, that is unless you saw us. Then you'd be immediately attracted. And remember, folks, if you find yourself walking down the Ocean Path Trail in Maine at night, or maybe trucking through the Willamette Valley in Oregon, you best remember one thing, my friends. Always carry more gun than you think you're going to need. Sleep tight.